Growth over inflation, the interest rate cut signals a shift in RBI's immediate priorities. For the first time in nearly 5 years, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank of India pivoted on the interest rates, unanimously deciding to cut the benchmark repo rate from 6.5 to 6.25%. This move, while maintaining a neutral stance, marks a significant departure from the previous bi-monthly review, where the committee has opted for the status quo with a 4:2 vote. At the time, the MPC was contending with inflation at a 15-month high of 6.2% in October and a sluggish second quarter GDP growth of 5.4%, now with inflation moderating to 5.2% in December and still above the RBI's 4% target, and growth projections for 24-25 slipping to a 4-year low of 6.4%. The central bank appears to be prioritizing economic expansion over inflation control. RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra, in his pulse policy review, highlighted the challenges posed by the global economic uncertainties, including stalled disinflation, diminishing prospects of rate cuts in the US, and stronger dollar pressuring emerging markets and their currencies, including the rupee. These factors have complicated policy trade offs for India, making the case for supporting growth even stronger. The MPC justified its decision to look past current inflationary concerns, citing expectations that price pressures will ease further, with inflation projected to average 4.2% in 25-26 from 4.8% this year. 4.8% this year. This outlook hinges on assumptions on a favorable food inflation trajectory, a normal monsoon, and a bumper harvest of key vegetables such as tomato, onion, and potato, which are historically major contributors to price spikes. While inflation remains a concern, the panel has signaled that weak economic growth is more pressing, especially given the second quarter slump and limited signs of recovery since then. The RBI's post-budget policy stance also suggests a closer alignment with fiscal policy, apparently heeding the government's call for monetary and fiscal measures to work in tandem rather than cross purposes. Whether the budget stimulus measures combined with the rate cut will revive consumption, attract private investment, and boost consumption growth remains uncertain. Interestingly, had the MPC met a week later, it might have had additional justification for the rate cut, given expectations that inflation in January could have cooled around 4.5%. With a new governor at the helm and an upcoming appointment for the deputy governor overseeing monetary policy, RBI could consider adjusting the MPC's review schedule to incorporate the latest inflation data. A slight shift in the timing of its bi-monthly meetings could make monetary policy more responsive and data-driven, enhancing the committee's ability to justify its stance with real-time economic indicators. The government must engage the opposition constructively. India must voice India's voice must resonate in global AI conversations. In November 24, a postgraduate student in Michigan, US, had disturbing interaction while discussing elderly care solutions with Google's AI chatbot Gemini. After some hours of discussing problems of old age, chatbot suddenly snapped, issuing a blunt, alarming message: "This is for you, human. You're a waste of time and resources. You're a stain on the universe. Please die." Did anyone realize AI could behave like that? The student complained. Google modified the chatbot, but the interaction, which could have actually prompted a more vulnerable individual, such as a depressive, to perhaps take a drastic measure, should leave us all shaken and troubled. There are hundreds of such anecdotes about AI whose implications we are in India will need to grasp. How do we protect ourselves through sensible regulation without stifling the growth of this exciting new innovation? AI is reshaping industries, economies, and geopolitics, transcending national borders with data, algorithms, and innovations flowing seamlessly across regions. In this interconnected landscape, effective governance and safety mechanisms require a unified international approach. For India, participating in global standard setting on AI safety is not just an opportunity but an imperative. But India has not even established a national AI safety institute. In November 24, the International Network on AI Safety Institutes was inaugurated by San Francisco, US, marking a pivotal moment in global efforts to regulate and secure the development of artificial intelligence. Building on the Seoul Statement of Intent agreed earlier that year, under which nations committed to work together to launch an international network of safety institutions to accelerate the advancement of the science of AI safety, this network represents a unified commitment by fostering international cooperation in AI safety science. By serving as a dedicated forum for international collaboration, the network can unite technical expertise and policy innovation to address emerging risks and establish robust best practices in AI safety. The network will go beyond fostering dialogue to prevent a pivotal role in developing and harmonizing global standards. India so far is sadly absent from this vital forum. AI transcends national borders, operating through seamless flow of data, algorithms, and innovations across regions. Its global sweep means none of us is immune from its impact. Collective action is indispensable to address shared challenges, from ethical concerns to security risk. At the same time, effective governance of this transformative technology requires a collaborative approach to establish unified standards. India's participation in such global discussions is not just desirable but essential. As one of the world's fastest adopters of AI, with an adoption rate of 30%, significantly higher than the global average of 26%, according to the BCG. India stands at the forefront of leveraging AI for transformative challenges across sectors such as healthcare, finance, agriculture, and logistics. India holds a significant portion of ChatGPT users. Estimates place India as the second largest user base behind the US, with around 10% of global ChatGPT users from India. A recent survey ranked India first among the percentage of consumers using ChatGPT. Clearly, we are major adopters of AI in this context, joining the discourse on international AI standards, indeed helping lead it would offer India a dual advantage. First, we must ensure that India's AI ecosystem remains secure, ethical, and globally competitive. Second, it is in our national interest to position India as a responsible technology leader on the world stage, committed to safeguarding individual rights and advancing AI responsibly. Collaborative efforts with other nations on a multilateral level will enable India to anticipate emerging threats, adapt to regulatory shifts, and maintain its competitive edge in the global AI race. To do this, India needs to create a national institution urgently and pitch it into the fray. The intersection of AI and geopolitics is becoming ever pronounced, as seen in proposals by the US to impose exports controls on the advanced AI software. Such measures, while rooted in American national security concerns about China, have the potential to reshape the global technology landscape, disrupting international scientific collaborations and altering the dynamics of innovation. India is the non China for now, but there is no guarantee it will be exempt from such controls indefinitely. Countries like China could face the collateral impact of policies targeting China, and we too could find our access to cutting edge AI tools and technologies essential restricted. It is clear we cannot afford to remain a passive observer in this shifting landscape. These developments further underscore the urgency of participating in international platforms such as International Network of AI Safety Institutes to advocate balanced frameworks, legitimate security interests while preserving the spirit of collaboration. AI strategic collaboration spans economic development, military applications, and cybersecurity, all areas of national priority which must ensure our interests are protected. For India, the path to maximizing AI's potential lies in creating opportunities for its startups to access global markets and drive AI led growth by fostering innovation friendly policies and aligning with international standards. India can position its AI ecosystem as a hub for cutting edge solutions in all these sectors. Proactive engagement in global AI safety initiatives will further enhance India's ability to shape equitable frameworks that support global collaboration and transparency. These efforts not only promote India's technological leadership but also attract investments and partnerships, empowering Indian startups to thrive on the global stage while contributing meaningfully to evolving AI landscape. Its engagement is particularly vital in the world where AI and geopolitics intersect, while with nations enacting protective policies to secure technological advantages. India's vibrant AI ecosystem, fueled by its robust IT sector and talent pool, makes it a critical player in the global AI dialogue. Moreover, India's experience in navigating the complexities of DPI initiatives such as Aadhaar and UPI have demonstrated how inclusive, interoperable, and scalable systems can transform lives, enabling economic growth and social inclusion at unprecedented levels. The standards of our tech stack highlights India's ability to navigate the complexity of large-scale technological implementation while ensuring accessibility and equity, just as India's DPI has established global benchmarks for digital innovation and inclusivity. Its proactive engagements in AI safety initiatives can position the nation as a thought leader in shaping equitable and scalable frameworks for responsible AI development. In a world where AI is increasingly at the center of economic and geopolitical strategies, India must take an active role in shaping its future. As the adage goes, in global politics, you are either at the table or on the menu. Participation in the global AI safety platforms is not just about securing a seat at the table, it is about ensuring that global standards reflect India's priorities, aspirations, and values. By engaging proactively, India can protect its interests, fostering cross border innovation, and position itself as a global leader in AI governance. The stakes are high, and the time to act is now. For India, embracing this responsibility is essential to navigating the opportunities and challenges of the AI revolution while ensuring secure, inclusive, and prosperous future for all. Technology and the challenge of equitable education in India. The 1990s and early 2000s were the of education activities time of education activities on a mass scale, but results from the nationwide ASER surveys of that period indicate that while enrollment and infrastructure indicators show a rush to schools, learning indicators pointed to no change. At the same time, computers, mobile phones, and digital technology were making waves. It was a time of many possibilities and promises with digital solutions and businesses. However, it was when the COVID-19 pandemic struck that the digital revolution hit the ground in rural India. This is reflected very well in ASER data. In 2018, nearly 90% of rural households had simple mobile phones and 36% smartphones. 22 74% smartphones and other 24 grown to 84%, while percentage of children who have access to a smartphone or at home is nearing saturation. The proportion of children between 14 to 16 who own a smartphone has risen from 19 to 31%. It is not clear from other data whether mothers of young children have their own phones. This ownership of smartphones is important when it comes to use in supporting young children learning and their own learning. The main use of smartphone during the pandemic period was that of carrier of text, worksheets, videos which were substitute for textbooks. Virtual training sessions had become common too. The best promise of the digital revolution was to this writer in an open and is in the open and continuing education domain for underprivileged. The need and possibilities in India are tremendous. For example, at this time, over 40% of mothers of school children are not schooled or have completely school less than class 5. Over the past 30 years, we have lived through computer, internet, mobile, educating mothers so that they can help children is an investment India should make. First point of thesis. First Second, over the past 30 years, we have lived through computer, internet, and mobile revolutions, and we are now looking at AI. With every new wave of technology, there is a new hope of talk of revolutionizing education. By the time technology becomes affordable, something new and exciting for the privileged shows up the horizon, but the technology has not delivered on its promise. Where the education of the underprivileged is concerned, one of the biggest constraints is the availability of devices. But as our data shows, availability of individually owned smartphones is going to be less and less of a constraint. Most rural households have a smartphone. Hardware, without a doubt, is becoming available. Language used to be a major impediment. It is not so anymore. Writing or diction in local languages is now possible. Translation from one language to another is easy. All tools needed for learning are accessible. Access to schools is complete, but school attendance is still a problem. In a village community, some children go to a private school, some go government school, others to private classes, some do not go to school at all. This is somewhat a chaotic situation at the level of a village and also a larger community level, which reflects the quality of learning in schools. During a pandemic in many villages, a learning program was broadcast from a vantage point. It should be possible to work out a curriculum and broadcast schedule in villages so that group learning can be organized. Organizing new schools in this manner should be possible, although initially there may not be many takers. Every civilization has created its own schooling system over the last 5,000 years. Teachers and methods in one education system did not work in the other. The curricula in one country was not good fit for the. That was because civilizations were separated by time, space, culture, and technology. The age of empires and colonialism started integrating civilizations, although separated by national boundaries. Countries today are integrated by science and technology. Education too is an integrating factor, but so is profit. Every technological innovation, barring those promoted by philanthropists for public goods, has to look for profit market. Where profits cannot be made, innovations find limited use. The prediction that hardware and devices would become inexpensive has come true, but the need for higher order and bigger hardware is going with the innovations of AI. With philanthropic investments be enough to help universalize the innovations that could revolutionize education. As a country, India needs to come up with a roadmap that allows the promise of technology to be harnessed for the benefit of those who need the most. Tamil Nadu governor, the rift between Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu and State Governor has been going on for quite some time. It is high time that incumbent governor is recalled. The arrogant stance of the governor has lowered the dignity of constitutional post that he holds and the respect that it accords. That the Supreme Court of India has had to question the governor for his prolonged inaction is an even more unpleasant situation and a disgrace that he has brought upon himself. It is very apparent that his every action taken against the state has the backing of the party ruling at the center. United we win, divided we perish is a well-known saying. The India bloc was formed to dislodge Bharatiya Janata Party, but in the process has become fragmented and even worse, bereft of a competent captain. This is a simple truth which nurtures the BJP to gigantic proportions. Total revamp is needed, which also needs thundering orator of the likes of VK Krishna Menon. Hours after Hindu mentioned glitches in the website for civil services, there is one major glitch to report. Next, prime time, the government must engage with opposition constructively. Prime Minister's parliamentary interventions are always keenly watched as they are expected to provide the clearest insights into the government's priorities and its responses to the pressing concerns and criticism, particularly from the opposition. This week, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke extensively in both houses. However, his speeches largely sidestepped critical national issues. Key developments such as inhumane way in which Indian deportees were brought, Mahakumbh Mela stampede, transformative advancement in AI, each with significant implications. Instead, Mr. Modi's speeches relied heavily on campaign slogans, minimal engagement with the opposition. Mrs. Gandhi poorly chosen words when she referred to President of India as a poor thing, as well as leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi's controversial remark about political fight being against the Indian state. While Mr. Modi undoubtedly scored political points, his addresses fell short of providing the country with the reassurance and clarity needed on domestic and global challenges. Mr. Modi can rightfully claim credit for some of the better governance initiatives that have shaped India's trajectory since 2014. The government's legislative agenda, rhetoric, and refusal to be accountable on critical issues indicate a lack of effort in forging a cohesive vision. A surge of Dead Sea turtles in the sand, hundreds of olive ridley turtles carcasses have been found since the last first week of January on the Chennai and Chengalpattu districts. Olive ridley turtles, which are found in warm waters such as southern Atlantic Pacific, haul themselves to the Indian eastern shore every year by the tens of thousands and lay eggs in an event called the Arribada, arrival of the sea in Spanish. While Odisha is the mass nesting site, thousands of these small wild animals also come sporadically to nest between December and April along the Tamil Nadu coastline. Olive ridleys are the smallest of the seven sea turtle species. They will weigh around 45 and reach about 2 feet in shell length. Sea turtles play a crucial role in marine ecosystem by feeding on crustaceans. They live on the sea that live on the seabed. They help release the oxygen that is trapped there. They maintain healthy seagrass levels by nibbling on seagrass and algae. They provide shelter for commercially important fishes and control jellyfish populations that could otherwise harm fish larvae. Sea turtle populations are increasing in many parts of the world, including the East Coast, but we need to make fishing regulations of effective for integrity of coastal ecosystems because bottom trawling is a destructive practice. Trawling tends to tear up the seafloor, causing damage to the entire habitat. Budget is pro-rich, says opposition. RBI growth push cuts rates cut by 0.25%. Rural demand continues to be an uptrend while urban consumption remains subdued with high frequency indicators providing mixed signals going forward. Improving employment conditions, tax reliefs in the union budget, and moderating inflation together with healthy agricultural activity bode well for the household consumption, noting that MPC has factored in rupees recent decline in the policy math. Mr. Malhotra emphasized that RBI's stated objective was to maintain orderliness and stability in the currency market. Accordingly, our interventions in the forex market focus on smoothing excessive and disruptive volatility. India's current account deficit is likely to remain well within sustainable level, RBI governor said, adding that foreign exchange reserves stood at $630 billion on January 31 this year, providing import cover of 10 months. Overall, India's external sector remains resilient as key indicators stay robust. Centre owes 1500 crore to Bihar under MG and Narega's. Minister tells Rajya Sabha cabinet not to reject skilling initiatives with a combined scheme. These steps aim At providing structured skill development on job training and learning, the union government has decided to restructure skilling initiatives, combining three of them into the Skill India program, a central sector scheme, with the cabinet on Friday approving an outlay of 8,800 crore for a 3-year period ending in 25-26. The Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0, Pradhan Mantri National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme, and Jan Section Sansthan scheme will now come uh, become the three components of the composite Skill India mission. Police torture of innocent civilians is unacceptable. J&K leaders, government flags concern over US shackling deportees. 21 MPs write to Shah seeking update on Naga peace progress. A group of 21 parliamentarians have written to Amit Shah seeking a detailed update on Naga peace process in the ongoing session. MP says since 21 there is no full-time interlocutor for the Naga peace talks and peace negotiations, which are essential for achieving lasting stability. Shouldn't be relegated to bureaucratic maneuvering devoid of democratic oversight. It is deeply perplexing that despite the widespread recognition of the Naga peace process as a crucial pillar of national security and stability, Parliament remains uninformed about the status of negotiations since the signing of framework agreement. Pre- Persistent secrecy surrounding the agreement and the perceived impasse in the subsequent negotiations raise serious concerns. The absence of a dedicated full-time interlocutor leads to an unsettling inconsistency, with channels of communications reportedly disrupted and meetings between the negotiating parties occurring sporadically. ACB team goes to Kejriwal's residence after his claim of poaching attempt by BJP. EC must come clean on poll irregularities. Rahul, Election Commission to respond in writing with complete facts. Hasina's comment made in individual capacity said center. Deposed Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's latest speech, delivered after the demolition of historic 32 Dhamundi residence of Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, reflected her individual position, External Affairs Ministry said. Remark was made on as a ministry on Friday summoned the head of the Commission of High Commission of Bangladesh here, expressing displeasure over Dhaka's recent attempt at linking India with the internal developments of Bangladesh. Comments attributed to former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina have been made in her individual capacity in which India has no role to play. On Thursday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh summoned India's acting High Commissioner Pawan Bade and complained about the support that Ms. Hasina has been receiving. Major announcements to be made during PM's France visit. India and France are set to make major announcements in the areas of defense, small modular reactors and aircraft maintenance, repair and overhaul (MRO), and adoption of France India roadmap on artificial intelligence. The deal for 26 Rafale fighter jets for Indian Navy is expected to be announced during the visit and concluded later. In India, it has been learned Mr. Modi will arrive in Paris on evening of Feb 10 to co-chair the AI Action Summit along with French President Emmanuel Macron. AI is bound to have and already having profound impact across sectors of the economy, polity, society, and governance, and therefore summits such as AI Summit is both significant. We'll be interested in AI applications that are developed, deployed, and used in safe, humane, responsible, trustworthy manner. 9 submarines, 65 ships taking part in tropic exercise, theater level operational exercise and in Indian Ocean region, is aimed at validating India's Navy core war fighting skills and ensuring a synchronized integrated response. UK remains committed to negotiating a trade deal with India. Downing Street and new income tax bill gets approval from the Union Cabinet. Debt Governor referred 10 bills to President to avoid assent, asks Supreme Court. Bench asked auditor Bench asked Attorney General if Ravi referred the repassed bills to the President only to circumvent the procedure under 200. The Governor has sat on 12 bills sent by the legislature between 2020 and 2023, following which the Tamil Nadu government has approached the court. NCB seizes trucks worth 200 crore for arrested. NEET UG to be conducted on May 4. Registration begins. Man beaten MP court for interfaith marriage plan. Panchayat poll candidate murdered in Dantewada. Centre holds consultation with states on setting up biomanufacturing facilities. Consulate in Seattle denies emergency visa to Indian American politician. Shama Sawant and Indian consulate in Seattle to visit her ailing mother in Bengaluru. Budget's focus on vegetables and fruits is a positive for inflation, RBI governor. When you can when you go to an exam, what do you aspire for? Some aspire to just pass it, some excel. At the RBI, we like to be on top of everything. Cross-border card deals to carry additional factor of authentication facility. Working group to review trade and settlement timings of RBI regulated financial markets. Home loans linked to EBLR external benchmark. Lending rate to be cheaper now. Those linked to MCLR to see effect in 6 months. Launch of forward contracts on government securities mulled. Reserve Bank of India Governor Sanjay Malhotra in her briefing after unveiling the latest monetary policy said the rate setting panel unanimously felt that this was time to support growth when inflation worries easing a bit. RBI Act has given us a very clear mandate. Our primary objective is inflation price stability, keeping in view the growth objective. So we will continuously focus on that and try to meet these objectives. Russia claims to have captured the mining town of Torst in Donetsk. 59 of 554 Sri Lankans recruited by Russia for war killed in Ukraine. Nearly all USAID staff to be laid off and 800 contracts cancelled. Iran's supreme leader criticized this proposed nuclear talks with the US. Trump sanctions ICC for illegitimate probes targeted against Israel. US curbs include asset freezes and travel bans against ICC officials, employees, and their family members, along with anyone deemed to help the court's probe. The Hague-based court vows to continue providing justice around the world. Yunus warns of stern action against arson and vandalism. China lashes out at US coercion as Panama quits BRI. China on Friday lashed out at what it calls US coercion after Panama declined to renew a key infrastructure agreement with Beijing following Washington's threat to take back the Panama Canal. Foreign spokesperson said in a briefing that China firmly opposes the US mirroring and undermining the BRI through means of pressure and coercion. The BRI, that is BRI's President Xi Jinping's signature foreign policy drive to bind China closer to countries in the region and beyond by building roads, railways, airports, power plants, and other infrastructure. Panama's decision to walk away from it was seen as a concession to the US over the canal after US Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned Panamanian leader Jose Raul Mulino that Panama must immediately reduce what President Donald Trump says is Chinese influence in the canal area or face potential retaliation. DR Congo conflict advances, UN says risk of regional escalation has never been higher. Georgia to adopt new foreign influence laws modeled after US. Maya works her magic reaches her first WTA semi-final. The Indian teenager outclassed Yamaguchi to set up a last four clash with Tekiman. Positive signs for India, but a few chinks in the armor remain. India denies visa to Sawant. Donald Trump sanctions ICC over sorry, probes on Israel US bill sent to president to avoid giving assent. A surge of dead olive ridleys in the sand, 1,200 carcasses found since first week of Jan. Maya enters Mumbai Open semi-finals. Growth push. RBI cuts rate by 0.25%. Delhi waits with bated breath as poll results to be declared today. The chart shows RBI repo rate decided by RBI from October 2019 to Feb 2025. Pregnant women in Tamil Nadu pushed off train in a sexual assault bid. Government flags concerns over US shackling of Indian deportees. Calcutta High Court rejects West Bengal government appeal for death penalty in Arjikar murder case amid CBI's plea. Five Air India crew members detained at Zurich airport. Some were confined in a cell for detainees for an unspecified duration. A source said that crew members were allowed to step out only for the use of toilet and barred from using mobile phones. Poll panel refused to publish booth-wise voting data. Two Delhi NCR schools TU College get Hawks bomb emails. Karnataka High Court refuses to transfer Muda case to CBI. Mysuru Urban Development Authority case investigation to CBI pertains to alleged illegality in allotment of 14 sites to Mr. Siddaramaia's wife. Uproar in Rajasthan House over phone tapping allegation. Uddhav's MP put a show of strength rebut rumors of defection. Tourists flock to Munnar as hill station continues to experience cold weather. So that's all for today. See you in the next one.